Sorry about that. Sorry, my apologies about that. I'm trying to do this all over once again. So today's topic, we're going to talk about why your kids may not even love you because of child support. That's a strong statement. Strong statement, but it's true. And I want you guys to be careful and be cognizant of that. So if you guys just joined us in, I want to say thank you for spending a couple of minutes with me. I'm not going to be here long. I just had something on my heart that I up and also started technology killed child support. And my message today is why your kids may not even love you because of child support. A couple of things actually had happened, and so I wanted to bring this message out. And thank you guys for joining us. Jen, hey, I see you out there. Hey, Mr. Khalif, I see you. Ebony, thank you for joining, guys. If you guys see this message is pretty powerful because you may know someone yourself and that may be struggling, kind of asking a question: why don't I even love why my kids don't even love me? They may have some information about that. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit about why that does occur. So if you guys are watching, I want to say thank you very much. And please share it. Share the stream. I greatly appreciate that because a lot of people need to know this information. Too many fathers are having difficulty dealing with child support orders. They don't know how to combat it. They don't know how to go about it. A lot of people are fighting so hard that they're literally losing their lives. They're literally going to jail. They're literally, disregarding the family. There's a lot that happens. So some of you may or may not know. Actually, let me give you just a quick backstory to why I came up with this subject topic and why I want to talk about it. Why your kids may not love you. Some of you may know that a couple of months ago I was diagnosed. I had a Graves' disease. Actually, not diagnosed, but diagnosed with a hyperthyroidism, and it's possible that I may have a disease called Graves' disease. And now, what that is an autoimmune disease where the hormones in your body is attacking and it's telling your thyroid to produce more hormones. So, for the past couple of months, that's what I've been doing. That's why I lost so much weight. So, but here's the point of why I say that. The reason why. If your kids, you're having a problem with your children, you gotta let them know things like this because number one, when that happened to me, I jumped on the phone. Once I got diagnosed, I jumped on the phone and I said, hey, look, something may be going on with me genetically, and it obviously that gets passed down to your kids. So even though you may not have a good relationship or a good standing relationship with the mother or the child, it's important that at least you are cognizant enough and be aware that if something like this is happening to you, regardless of the relationship, you still need to reach out to that child or to the parent. Now, if you don't have any communication with a child whatsoever, it's going to be very difficult for you to do that. But why jeopardize that child's life when you have information and you're withholding that information that one day can save that child? See, 1 out of 6 men are diagnosed with prostate cancer, and even a third of that has sometimes passed away if they don't even realize that they have this disease or if they have anything wrong with them. If your child or daughter or son grows up with that same issue, he or she are in jeopardy from passing away or being severely ill. So when I figured out that my thyroid was hyperactive, it's like, oh, it's not a big deal. But what really happened with that, number one, that's something that was genetic. I didn't understand. And a lot of people have genetic diseases, but you don't really, number one, you may not be aware of it. And if you guys just joined on, I want to say thank you very much. I see you, Ronald, out there. Cliff, I see you guys. Hey, Charles, thank you guys very much for joining. Please share this stream. There's a lot of people that needs to hear this information. And it's why your child might not even love you and you don't even know it's because of child support. So the reason why it was so important for me to bring this up because I have been not in communication with my other children because of child support. Now, if I really take a good look at that and I start thinking, wait a minute, if there's something going on with me, don't I owe it to the person to reach out to them and say, you know what? It's very possible that there's something could be wrong with you as well. So why don't you go to the doctor, make sure you get checked up. See, when your children don't love you, you got to really take a good look at that. What are some of the possibilities of that? See, it's not always that it's the distance between you and the child. A lot of times it's the relationship between the father and then the mother. And what happens is the child begins to get negative information from the source. The source would be the mother, or in some cases it could be the father. But that negative information then gets embedded in the child. That child then takes that information and then they develop a dislike towards the other parent. Now, why would that be so vital of a mistake? Even if there's dis-ease and there's conflict between the parents, that child still has an obligation to stay in communication when they're over the age of 16. Now, when they're under that age, they can't do a lot for themselves. They have to rely on the information from that parent that they're with. See, children grow up hating, not loving, and disliking a father or mother figure when they don't even know them. You hear so many situations where it's a child say, I don't want anything to do with this man. I don't want anything. He wasn't there. I don't want anything to do with that or with that person. But you have to really take a good look at it. If they don't want anything to do with you, whose decision really is that? Is it truly the child's decision? Did he or she truly make their mind up that they do not want to be a part of that father's or that mother's life? Did they really sit down consciously and think, I hate this man, I hate this woman? Probably not, because that was an influence from that other, the custodial parent's mind. That fed into their dislike. Over time, what happens is people begin to believe in that dislike. A child, I have older sons who do not communicate with me on a regular basis. They may have dislike, but they have no idea who their father really is. They don't know that their father is a very well-respected man. They don't know their father is someone that's helping hundreds of lives. They don't know that their father has changed the lives of several people financially. They don't know that their father is out there in the community doing good. They don't know that their father is out there changing people's lives and actually putting them on a path to better themselves because he himself have figured out that he was doing things wrong. They don't know that father. They don't know that person because it's possible that their idea was diluted by someone else's thought process. When that happens, then they start separating themselves from the idea of who their father really is and who that man really is and who that woman really is. See, your past mistakes is not a dictation and a judgment of who you are today. Who I am today is a totally different man from 25, 30 years ago. Because when you're a young woman and you're a young man, you're jumping into relationships that you have no idea of the consequences. So many different parts of your existence derived from your childhood. So if you have a disturbed childhood and you try to put that same information on that child, you really are going to lead them into a bad place. So when your child says that, or maybe you don't, because you don't get phone calls. I mean, I don't get certain Father's Day, calls and days and things like that. But why do I have a child now that's 8 years old who thinks the world of me? See, because things were done wrong then, the child's getting penalized for who you are today. My son wants to grow up to be like me. He studies the finances just like me. He's always, he's into games like me. He's very smart. He's on the computer. And you have some kids that are just like that. Your kids are smart. They're bright. They're gifted. They're amazing. They can be whatever that you tell them to do if you give them the proper chance to do it. You give them a financial uplift to where they can tackle the world. They can get out there and they can be successful. Then they can start making a change in their life. You got to be able to deliver that type of information. Don't let your past mistakes dictate where you are today. Don't throw away your future just because of some mistakes that you did or some things that you did when you were younger. That does not determine who you are today. Who you are today can wipe out everything that was done in the past as long as you're doing something positive and progressive for yourself and for your family. So even if that child thinks that he or she may not love you, you got to keep in mind, it may not been their actual choice in the matter. So I hope this message was strong, and I hope it touched a couple people. As you know, there's a couple of things I always walk away. I want you to walk away from. I always try to give you some steps to do. And I got 3 for you. And everything that I asked of you, this is the same thing that I do and what I've been doing for myself and I do for other people. So if you're following me on here and you're watching this live stream on Facebook, I want to say thank you very much. Let me give you 3 things that I want you guys to do if you find yourself dealing with this situation. And if you don't have anywhere to go, and if you feel like your kids don't love you, okay, the first thing, the very first important thing I want you to do is make a decision to love yourself. I want you to decide on this live stream that you're going to decide that you're going to love yourself first. Because without you, you cannot then give love to other people. See, the child, even though he has made up his mind, he or she did not do that alone. They did not get this life alone. You had a hand in that. You had a hand in that as well. So regardless of how they feel, I want you to make sure that you love yourself first. And then the second thing that I always do now, once we figured a lot of stuff out, I want you to visit your doctor frequently. I want you to go to your family physician or whoever that you deal with, whether it's organic or whether it's westernized physicians. Get checkups more regularly than what you've ever had before, especially if you're over the age of 40. Do that for yourself, number 1. Number 2, then do it for your children. Because keep in mind, even if they have a dislike or disdain or a false sense of idea of who you really are, you owe it to them to give them an opportunity to be caught off guard. You don't have to indulge in deep conversation. You don't have to, make some drawn out explanation or excuse. Just reach out. It could be even from third party, but preferably from you to help them get that information just in case anything goes wrong. And number 3, the one I want you to walk away from is always, always, always take care of yourself first. Child support can be a heartbreaking and humbling issue, and it also can be a very destructive issue. We've seen people kill the mothers. We've seen people go on rampages. We've seen fathers commit suicide. We've seen all this. We have enough issues alone today. Cops are killing men. I mean, there's so many things that's not going in a way that they should be. And having another father on a child support case is not always the answer. It's not always the answer. At the same time, it's not always bad to have external support. But I do have a lot of information about that. So I want to say thank you guys for joining me. I want you guys to follow. Make sure you follow me on Instagram at Technology Killed Child Support. If you or yourself is dealing with that, I give practical, reasonable examples and things that you can do, because I myself deal with child supporters. I've done it all from suspension of license, had to lose this and lose it. I've done it all. I'm not someone up here talking who has no idea what that's like. It's the real deal. If you guys see some of my other videos, you guys can go on my page and search out some of the other videos that I've done. Thank you guys for spending your Sunday afternoon with me. It's a beautiful, beautiful day. And again, reach out to that person and follow those 3 steps that I asked you to do. You will become a better person. Talk to you guys soon. Thank you for joining.